नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविडं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव. Hari Om. We are doing the 7th chapter of Panchadasi, Tattva Truptidipa Prakaranam, where the contentment of a realized soul is being described, and it's based on the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad statement Atma Ched Vijaniyat Ahamasmi iti Purushaha. So that statement is being analyzed. So let's chant now the sloka 112. Tattva bhavanaya nasyetu. But noise is making. Tattva bhavanaya nasyetu. Sato dehatiriktatam. Sato dehatiriktatam. Atmano bhavaye tadvat. Atmano bhavaye tadvad. Mithyatvam jagato nisham. Mithyatvam jagato nisham. So tattva bhavanaya nasyetu swato dehatiriktatam. There's too much noise. Tattva bhavanaya. Jayanti, this fellow is practicing or not? Tattva bhavanaya, contemplation on one's own nature. Excuse me. Outside noise, Inamma? Oh. Tattva bhavanaya. The tattva bhavana means what is the nature of the absolute truth. That is, aham atmani vijaniyat. So, atman chet vijaniyat. That was a Brihadaranyaka Upanishad statement. One has to contemplate on one's own real nature. Why one should contemplate on real nature? Because that is the tattvam, that is the absolute truth. And therefore, the scripture says that this atman chet vijaniyat. So, this tattva bhavanaya, by contemplating on one's own nature as specified by the scripture, so Atma Chet Vijaniyat statement according to the scripture, so one has to contemplate on one's own nature, and it's called Tattva Bhavanaya, contemplates on one's own nature. Sa Viparita Bhavana Nasyet, the contradictory qualifications of I am the body, because I am not the body, because this body is an inert, is an object, I am a subject. By negating neti vakyani, I arrive at what is myself, what is the nature of my own self, and that is called the taking myself what I am not is a viparita bhavana, contradictory assumption, and that is negated by complete analysis, and that is essentially understanding one's own nature. So, sa viparita bhavana nasya. By that analysis and understanding, contemplating on it, one's contradictory assumption that I am the body, mind, and intellect. Why I am doing the assumption? Because whenever the body, mind, intellect is undergoing problems, because it's a nature, and when it goes modifications, I am getting a problem. So when the problems of the body becomes intense, even for Mahatma, so in those momentary intense pain or the body level, then one cannot but in those moments associate itself that it is my body. But immediately a realized soul recognizes that I am not the body, body has a problem because of its problem, because of the prarabdha. So that's why he says tattva bhavanaya, contemplating on one's. So I have to immediately shift my attention to what is my true nature. That's called tattva bhavam. Means I understood in the class what exactly is my nature. Now I have to keep that memory into mind and contemplate my mind, shift my mind from the association of the properties or problems of the body to that my true nature, and I had to immediately recollect the teaching in those moments, and that's called Tattva Bhavana. In that way, the Viparita Bhavana, contradictory assumptions that I am making, that I am the body, I am the mind, and I am the intellect, and so on. So therefore, the limitations of the body, mind, intellect are my limitations. All that will slowly go away as I shift my attention of my identification at the mind level with the totality. So who has to do it? The mind has to do it. Where is the mind? It's a part of the problem. So that is where the subtle aspect is. Using the mind, that's what is essentially by the jnana vritti, I had to remove the ajnana vritti. And if I do that, the phala vritti, phala vyapti is always there, and the phala vyapti immediately become evident, and that's how the tattva bhavanaya, the viparita bhavana nasyet. Ataha, thereafter, atmanaha deva atiriktatam, the Atma, this I am, is different from the body. So the self other than the body, etc. Tadvatu has to be understood or has to be recognized. It's not that it is now going to be different. It is all the time different. Atma is different from the body only all the time, because I am a conscious entity. Body is not a conscious entity. Body became a conscious entity because I am enlivening the body. The very life itself is that makes the body, which is a matter, nothing but carbohydrates, minerals, and all that. That's why it's a wonder of all wonders is I can breathe, I can talk, I can listen, I can think, and all that, because the body itself is the inert things are become so active just sannidhi matrena, because of my just presence of myself, the self that I am, the whole body is becoming so dynamic. And I had to recognize that because using the mind only, that the one that enlivening that mind is nothing but Atma. Deha atiriktatam. The self is other than the atirikta, means different from the body, etc. Deha atiriktam, different from the body. Tadvat, similarly, jagataha mithyatvam anisham. So anisham bhavayet. And similarly, I had to keep this constantly meditating. This is called nididhyasanam. Nididhyasana means not only in the class, I had to bring that knowledge now. Whenever I am getting carried away with the world, and to dukkeshu anudvignamaha manaha sukeshu vigataspraha vita raga bhayakrodaha sitadhir muniruchyate. Krishna says because he is also undergoing the suffering. At the same time, says dukkeshu anudvignamanaha. So he is not getting excited about the sufferings of the body mind level. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspraha, not excited about the pleasures of the body or pleasures of the senses, and therefore dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspraha vita raga bhaya krodaha. He doesn't have ragam, the bhayam and all that slowly goes down. It's not immediate transformation. It occurs slowly, and therefore it is a slow process. And how long I have to do it? Whole life itself it takes. Therefore, one has to be, because you have spent many lives with the notion that I am the body, I am the mind and intellect, it suddenly doesn't go away because of the teaching that you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are not the intellect. Because the deep-rooted vasanas are so deep-rooted, it takes the time to get rid of that, the identification, and therefore one has to keep contemplating, keep the knowledge coming back again and again and again. In that way, it can be removed. Now the question is, so should I say that I am the Atma, I am the body, I am the Atma, I am Brahman, I am not this body, I am not this body. Do I have to do a japam like this or what? So a student asked the question now, and that's what is the next sloka 113. Kim matra japavan murti, kim mantra japavan murti, jnanavad jatma vedabhihi, jnanavad atma vedadhihi. Kim mantra japavan murti, jnanavad atma vedadhihi. Jaganmityatvadhischastra, Jaganmityatvadhischastra, व्यावर्त्या स्यादुतन्यथा व्यावर्त्या स्यादुतन्यथा together किम मंत्र जपवन मूर्ति ध्यानवद आत्मवेदधीहि जगन्मिथ्यात्वधीश्चात्र व्यावर्त्या स्याद उतान्यथा व्यावर्ता स्याद अन्यथा व्यावर्ता स्याद अन्यथा. So let's see kim mantra japavan. So Atma Vedadihi, I am separate from Atma, from the Deham. That means I am different from the body. I am a subject and the body is an object, and subject is different from the object. So I am a conscious existent entity, and this difference Atma Vedadihi and Jagan Mithyatvadhihi, that the world is not really real. It is only apparently real. It's a mithya. Mithya means it's neither real nor unreal. So these two, mantra japavatu, like mantra I had to do like a japa, sit down and say, I am not the body and the world is mithya, I am not the body, the world is mithya. Do I have to keep repeating like that, like a mantra, like a japa? Va. Murti dhyanavatu, like contemplating in the as I go into the temple, there is a murti. Murti is some figure is given as this is the Lord Vishnu, this is the Lord Shiva, this is the Lord Ganesha. A murti is formed for me for dhyanam, for meditation only. So for meditation, because the mind cannot concentrate that which is unobjectifiable, so an object form is provided for the mind to think, and that is what is essentially dhyanam. Dhyanam is essentially trying to objectify the murti in some form that the mind can meditate on. Is that what I need to do? Even in the Upanishad it says, it's not what you are meditating is not the God. That comes only for the higher knowledge of wise. But having known, in order to remove the viparita knowledge, do I have to do any meditation like that? A student is asking a question now. Kim mantra japavan murti janavat atma vedadhihi. So atma vedadhihi. So the difference of atma is different from the body, mind, intellect, and also the world is substantive is different from the nama rupa. Therefore world is only jagat, is mithya. Do I have to do a meditation or do I have to do a japa and all that? Japavat va murti janavat va atra kim vyavartya syat. So in what way I have to do it? Which is similar to above, like doing japa, or similar to the murti dhyanam? Means in the case of murti dhyanam or in japa, there are rules available, applicable. So are there particular rules in this nididhyasanam? It says uta, anyata, or anything else? I am only giving two examples here. Is it like a japa or is it like a meditation on some murti, or is some other rules that I need to follow in order to do nididhyasanam? When you say dhyasanam, say meditation. Because a lot of people say Vedanta is only intellectual. Now you have to sit down and meditate. Meditate on what? So that's what he is asking here. Is it some kind of meditation that I have to reject in the nididhyasanam? Because a lot of people have misunderstandings, and Vidyaranya, he says, in fact, this must have been asked a question at that time also. There are questions like that. Therefore, he is raising that question. Is it like something like that, or something like some other way? So he is going to answer that question. Anyadeti vijanihi drushtartatvena bhuktivat drushtartatvena bhuktivat bubutshur japavat bhungte nakaschinayatah kvachit together. Anyadeti vijanihi drushtartatvena bhuktivat bubutshur japavat bhungte nakaschinayatah kvachit. So here he is giving an example. Do you ask this question when you are full hungry? We are very hungry, and so the food is available, and the food is available, and you are extremely hungry, and your unlimited food is available. So these are the requirements, and you can eat as much as you want, you can take as much you want. There is no restrictions in that, and in any way you can take. What you want to do is quench your thirst. So therefore, these rules of I have to do this kind of japa, or this kind of jhanam, or this kind of meditation, or I have to think of some form for me to meditate on, and I need to now meditate because I have learned Vedanta now. All these questions do not arise when you are hungry. You just want to eat something and quench your thirst, quench your hunger. So it says, anyadha iti, by any other method, vijanihi, to be known. Any other method you use that you want to run, you want to know, dushtartatvena. For example, bhuktivatu, like eating meals, bubukshuhu, when you are for a hungry person, kaschid japavad, is there anyone you want to do some japa in front of the food? I want to eat. And niyatam, is there any rules that you have to follow? And kvachit, anywhere, nabhukti, not for taking meals anyway when you are so hungry. If you are not hungry, then you have no interest in eating food. But if you are hungry, you want to eat something quickly so that you can just quench your hunger. And in the same way, when you are deliberately mukshutvam, desire to get liberated, then all the rules don't have. You just get into the situation, understand it clearly, you are Atma and the world is real. So there is no japa and something. Keep that understanding of the Vedantic understanding always in your mind. That's what is essentially has to be done, and that is what is prescribed by the scriptures. How you do it is not important. This is what to be done. This example is further said in the next sloka. Ashnute va na vashnute, ashnute va na vashnute, bhunkte va svechaya natha, bhunkte va svechaya natha, yena kena prakarena, shudam apanishati. So together, ashnoti va na vashnoti, bhunkte va svechaya natha, yena kena prakarena shudam apanishati. So ashnutava, whether he eats, na ashnutava, he does not eat, anyatava, or he does something else, engaged in other activities. Svechaya, it's one's own desire. Whatever he wants to do, he can do. Bhunkte, one eats ekaprakarena, in whatever means. If he has a spoon, he will eat spoon. If he doesn't have a spoon, he will wash his hand and eat with the hand. So what he needs to be done? Shudam, hunger, apanishadaha, hunger is to be satisfied. So a question is, I am Atma, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Should I do meditation? He says, no, it's not the meditation, it is understanding. So understanding, how should I understand? Keep that understanding all the time in your mind. Recollect that understanding all the time, even while transacting in the world. How you want to transact it, there are no rules and regulations by Vedanta. The fact that you have to keep your mind in that is all is required, and that's what is being specified as nididhyasanam. So shrotavyaha, mantavyaha are important. You have to listen to the scriptures for a prolonged length of time until it is crystal clear, and mantavyaha, reflect on the teaching that there are no more doubts left. That means you are definite that this is the truth, and to keep the truth all the time in the mind when you are transacting, because you are transacting with your ragadveshas, your likes and dislikes, which are coming from the life after life after life. So one teaching will not help you to get rid of these vasanas. So constantly you have to keep remembering that your nature is not this, and even though body will have a problem, mind will have a problem, intellect have a problem, the problems of the body belongs to the body and not to you, because they are not there in the deep sleep state. Therefore, they do not belong to you. Obviously, you have to recollect all this teaching and reject the problems of the body, mind, intellect only to the problems, because that's upadhi. My car has a problem. Car has a problem, then take it to the garage station. The body has a problem, go to the hospital and get it fixed. And time comes to say where you cannot get it fixed anymore, then you have to take another body, another car. So in the same way, you have to contemplate on the absolute truth, keep your mind shifting, and that's what is called nididhyasanam. So therefore, he is going to now explain why this is not similar to any japa. Niyamena japam kuriyat, niyamena japam kuriyat, akrute pratyavayataha, akrute pratyavayataha, anyada karaneen arthaha, anyada karaneen arthaha, swaravarna viparyayat, swavarna viparyayat. Together, niyamena japam kuriyat, akrute pratyavayataha, anyada karaneen arthaha, swaravarna viparyaya. So why this is not called the japa? Because japa has some regulations and rules are there. So niyamena japam kuriyat. Japam has to be followed according to some niyama. Niyama means some rules have to follow. Kuriyat should be done. Akrute pratyavaya. If you don't do it properly, or if you don't do it at all, then you get a sin. According to this one, pratyavayataha. Pratyavaya papam is there. So if you do it, you won't get any benefit. But if you don't do it, this is what a nitya niyamitta karma. These are daily and obligatory duties that, depending upon your varnashrama, these are prescribed according to the Vedanta. So therefore, you have to do it. If you don't do it, then you will get sin according to the scriptures. They are called pratyavayataha. Akrute pratyavayataha. Not done, you will get pratyavaya papam. So anyada karani, if you do it wrong way also, you have problem. Swara varna viparyayat. There is a swara means how you chant Gayatri japa, and all these things, you have to follow certain rules and say Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuva, Om Suha. And nowadays you get all tape recordings, all things, and all sorts of people are singing musically, but here is his swara. Swara has to be followed according to the rules of the Vedanta. And therefore varna is essentially a pronunciation. Words are varnam. So you have to pronounce properly, and also with the proper intonation tools. Even any of these things are called essentially as prescribed, the sahasrasir sha purushaha, sahasraksha sahasrapad. So there is an intonation that has to follow according to our prescribed rules. So swara varna viparyaya. So errors in the swara and viparna gives you anartham. Anartham is wrong results you will get. So doing one thing is one thing. Doing wrong way is another problem in all the japa. But for the meditation in terms of the absolute truth, there are no rules at all, because this is about the truth. So here Vijayaranya emphasizing, therefore it's not like any japa, it's not like any prescribed rules, and all you need to do is recollect the teaching all the time in your mind. Chudev, we will do 117. Chudev adrushta bhada kratu, Chudev adrushta bhada kratu, viparita cha bhavana, jeya kenapyupayena, nastyatranushtite kramaha. Together. Shudeva drushta badha kratu, viparita cha bhavana, jeya kenapyupayena, nastatranushtite kramaha. So he is concluding this example. Shuddha eva, like hunger, viparita bhavanacha, the erroneous notion about oneself and also about the world. Drushta badha kratu, and the whatever is seen, the drushta badha kratu, whatever seen that is immediately, or the problems, kianapi, by whatever, upayena jeya, one overcomes all this. Atra, this viparita bhavana, anushthed, one has to do it for contemplation on the essence of the self. So here is essentially emphasizing and concluding, just as eating food say whatever, when you are suffering with the hunger, you don't need rules and regulations on terms of how one should eat and all that. You just want to gulp something so that your hunger is satisfied. And same way, your hunger for realization, if it is there, the mind immediately runs. There is no question of rules and regulations because it already knows the truth. It's not abiding in the truth. Therefore, it has to. If you don't know the truth itself, then the scripture tells you, Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamaya nasya kruta krutena tad vijnanartam sa gurum eva. You go to a teacher where you can learn this one. And tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Krishna says that for that you go with a humility and learn first. After learning only, we are talking about the nididhyasanam. So this is up to how viparita bhavana goes away. So now we are talking about the ekagrata, chitta ekagrata, constantly contemplating on it continuously on that is essentially keep the mind single pointed, is called ekagrata. And single pointedness has to be developed by discipline only. Otherwise mind will get dissipated. Child mind is always running around different directions because there is no discipline of the mind, and for that you have to work for it. And here he is going to give some of the ways in which the mind can be contemplating on the truth in a variety of ways. Upaya sarvame voktaha, upaya purvame voktaha, tatchinta katanadikaha, tatchinta katanadikaha. Etadeka paratvepi, ekadeka paratvepi, nirbandho janavan nahi, nirbandho janavan nahi. Together. Upaya sarvame voktaha, tatchinta kathanadikaha, etadeka paratvepi, nirbandho janavan nahi. Upayaha. Upaya means method for the removal of what kind of upaya? For the removal of the incorrect or erroneous notions, viparita bhavana, and that which is for contemplation on that, ekagrata. So upayaha tat chintana kathanam adikaha. Tat chintana, contemplating on that truth, and kathanam, discussing with others. So these are the methods of nididhyasanam. So nididhyasanam, when in the Maitreyi Brahmana, the Yajnavalkya, he leaves the house and say bye-bye to his wives Maitreyi and Katsyayani. He has two wives, and he says, I am going to split the property. What he had is only cows, and cows were splitting into two because I want to go and meditate on it. But therefore, the scripture and the interpretations of that, people or some of the acharyas, including Shankara also, is that sannyasa is required for nididhyasanam. But here the Vidyaranya says it is nothing, it is already tat chintanam. All you have to do is think of that in the direction. Chintana, chinta kathanam adikaha, etc. How do I chinta? Contemplate on it. And kathanam is discuss with others who are also interested in this. By continuous Vedantic discussions or contemplating on that is essentially the method for nididhyasana. There is no other shortcuts here. You have to constantly contemplate on the mind. Writing, reading, drawing and all that, it's only completely mind should be devoted to this according to the Vidyaranya here. So chinta kathanam adikam. So constant contemplation and discussion on the Brahman, etc. Purvam eva bhuktaha. We already discussed some of it in the earlier slokas. Etad ekadhyanavatu. Etad ekaparatve api. So etad ekaparatve api. So with respect to the single pointedness, that means concentrating on single aspect of it. Jhanavatu, like a meditation or upasana. Nirbandhaha, nahi. Nirbandhana means there are no rules, there is no strictness of rules here, and in whatever way you can do, you can do. So you don't have to say, I have to sit in the meditation room, in this room, in that room, and all that, and I need this, I need that. If you need, okay. If it doesn't need, also is okay. There is no specific rules to follow, other than the mind has to be constantly contemplating on this, or discussing this, or talking about it, or writing about it, or reading about it, and so on. That's how the mind should be continuously involved in this and not in the worldly affairs. That's essentially what he says here. So he says, the mind can contemplate on Brahman at any time, at any place. Is there a sacred place that you have to think of the Lord? He says, Lord is everywhere. If if the mind is distracted by the place, then you better find a sacred place so that it gets distracted. If the mind, you cannot contemplate anywhere, then go to a puja room and go sit down and meditate on the Lord. If you can do that, because Lord is everywhere, if that understanding is there, then you can make the presence of the Lord, and automatically the place gets purified by His very presence, or not that very presence, by His recognition of the very presence. Your mind at least feels that it is purified. So that's all in the mind only. But if possible, don't go unnecessarily in the wrong places and dirty places and want to contemplate, because the mind gets distracted there. So try to avoid unnecessarily places. Place where the mind is calm and where mind can become a calm and quiet and contemplate on it. So select a time and select a place also, even though it is everywhere and every place also. So that's what has to be understood here. So dhiyaha, of the thought, murti pratyaya santatvam. So continuous flow of the mind towards that object. Murti here is an object, means aham brahmasmi, tattvamasi, etc. So anyat antaritam, without any distracting thoughts of other thoughts. So meditation nothing but having a similar thoughts in the direction and avoiding all dissipating thoughts. That's what meditation is all about. And dhyanam is called dhyanam, it's called meditation. Tatra, in that dhyanam, chanchalam atmanaha manasaha. So the mind naturally is unsteady. Chanchalam manaha, that means the mind is naturally wants to run around. Ati nirbandhaha is held firmly into this single pointed goal. It has to be done. Krishna gives you a methodology. Yato nischarate manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyaitadu atmanyeva vasam nayed. So yato nischarati manas chanchalam, mind is chanchalam and it keeps going away in different directions. You sit in one place, the mind goes all over the place. You want to think of Rama, but you think of Rama Rao and some other things, and then all other things, mind run all over the world, leaving what you want to meditate on. Because mind is of the nature of that. Mind has to think, and it jumps from one thought to the other thought, so it gets dissipated from thought to thought. So what do I have to do? I have to bring the mind back. So yato nischarati manas chanchalam tatastadoniyam meitadu. The problem is solved because you recognize that the mind has gone away. Most of the time mind you don't even realize that the mind has gone away and you have also gone with the mind. But if you recognize that the mind has gone away, that means you are already withdrawing the mind from the mind, that aware of the mind going away. Immediately you bring it back. So yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tatastado niyamyaitadu. Immediately bring the mind back to it. So how long? Every time you find the mind has gone, bring it back. Every time mind gone, bring it back. So slowly you get abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena ta krishnate. By constant abhyasa, it gets, where does it mind run away? It goes where it has attachments only. So first get detached, vairagyam. That's what Krishna emphasizes. This by constant effort and by abhyasa and vairagya. Vairagya, because the mind is running into the fields where it has attachments, so get detached from that and bring into the focus here. So here now he quoting the Bhagavad Gita sloka of Arjuna's Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramadi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkuram. So when Arjuna was taught, say, you have to concentrate or contemplate on it, a meditation. This is a meditation chapter is in the 6th chapter, where you have to find a place and a suitable place, not too high, not too low, and all that. Krishna gives complete exhaustive details about how to meditate. It's in the 6th chapter. And after that, Arjuna says, Krishna, you are telling something which is impossible. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Krishna, mind is so fickle-minded. It runs away different directions. Pramadi balavadrudam. It's like a storm. You cannot control it. You cannot control the wind flow. You just avoid it. That's all. When it becomes a heavy wind. So tasyaham nigraham mani. Therefore, mind is also very difficult to control, just like the air. The air cannot be controlled. Vayoriva sudushkaram. Just like the wind cannot be controlled, mind cannot be controlled. So it's impossible. What you are saying is impossible to do. So what Krishna will answer for that? He says, yes, you are right first, so that he will ready to listen. Asamsayam mahabaho manodur nigraham balam. Arjuna, mahabaho. You are mahabaho means you are a great warrior. That means you can fight. So asamsayam, you no doubt what you say is true. Manodur nigraham balam. That is immediate. It's very difficult to control the mind. What you say is right, but can be done. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gichyate. By constant practice, one can win over the mind. It's difficult, not that it's easy, but slowly you can bring it. And any success in any field, you need to control the mind, because mind wants to run away different directions. Because exam is there, people want to watch TV or this. Says you bring the bag, not today, I have to do this. So you bring the bag, that means that is the sadhana. Sadhana involves bringing the mind and focusing it, and that becomes a part of any success. For any success, one should control the mind. And the success for the highest reality, to discover the highest reality, mind should obviously has to pull from all its attachments, and therefore that can be done, says Krishna. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha krishnate. Vairagya means detached to where you are running, where it's running, wherever it has attachments, first pull it back and concentrate by constant abhyasa, practice. And O Kaunteya. Kaunteya is using, O son of Beta Kunti's son. Means you are my friend and I am teaching you that it can be done, not that it cannot be done. So this is what Krishna teaches about how to do ekagrata. Then we will go to the next topic. In the next talk after this, he is going to quote from the Yoga Vasishta, a sloka that the mind is difficult indeed to control. And after that, we will go to the next topic that Vidyaranya talks about. We will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.